I remembered, oh my God, this is what my brother and I used to do.
Really? Okay.
Because he had a lot more hair and a longer beard, so you just jump on him. And it's very loving. You see something that needs to be fixed, that needs to be taken care of, you step up. You take responsibility. And so it was such a simple thing.
When did it first hit you? And how did it first hit you?
See, there was no question in my mind. I just knew that it was very special. And for me, he was my guru. I remember, even to this date, when I remember that courage comes back into me, it's like, Gurudev was like this lion, and he said, no, we have not done anything wrong. He said, I will go to jail, but the event will happen in the same place. And then what happens is this man comes back and he says, Gurudev, would you like to meet with the president?
Oh.
Right there, when the way the grace moves with Gurudev is very different.
Yeah.
It's something more than what the logic can comprehend.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm still discovering the amazing ways in which, the mysterious and the mystical ways in which Gurudev has an impact on society.
Hi, my name is Nakul, and today we have a very special guest with us, Dr. Ajay Tejasvi. Ajay does many things. He works with Gurudev's office in Washington, D.C. He manages global brands like Shankara and Sri Tattva USA. And before that, he worked with the World Bank for about 15 years, working with governments all around the world on leadership and governance. He also happens to be Gurudev's nephew, and he's someone who combines heart, wisdom, and real-world impact. It's lovely to have you, Ajay, with us. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here.
Lovely to be here, Nakul. It's always such a joy being here in Bangalore, and especially in our ashram.
Yeah.
It's a joy.
So, I just wanted to start with, because you've obviously seen Gurudev right from the very beginning. What are your earliest memories of Gurudev? And what was it like growing up with having Gurudev around?
It's been such a wonderful journey. And right from the time that I remember as a kid, probably 3-4 years old, maybe 4 years old, very, very fond memories. A lot of them came back to me. It wasn't so fresh until recent when I saw my children jumping around with him, and when they were they're like 12 and 10 now. And a few years ago, when they were much smaller, they would pull his beard and his hair, and I remembered, oh my God, this is what my brother and I used to do.
Really? Okay.
Because he had a lot more hair and a longer beard, so you just jump on him, and he's very loving. And we see that that unconditional love.
Yeah.
It just brought all of those memories back, and so much joy and gratitude. So I remember then I was like, oh my God, were we so naughty? Were we like pulling his beard? But even now, the way Gurudev plays with all the children that come around, it's just so reminiscent of that. And it's being such, even now as I share it with you, I feel that, like, wow, it's just so much joy, just thinking about that love that flows from Gurudev for everybody. So it was very special growing up around Gurudev. We remember one thing is like etched in my memory, and many of us know Gurudev really places a lot of importance on cleanliness, right? Short.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a big point in our courses also, in Siam as well. It's a very big principle in the Yoga Sutras also. But anyways, I did not know all this as a kid. So Gurudev would travel all around the world, and then those days we'd have Friday puja at home, right? He used to live in Manjula, right, in Bangalore. And so when Gurudev would come home, one of the things he would check is that he would look at the grills, and then he would see if it has any dust in it. And once I remember he saw the dust, and then he said, go bring a mug and a towel to clean it up. So that stayed with me, So My brother and I would clean up all the grills before Gurudev would come home, and it sort of brought this discipline of cleanliness within us. Right from a young age, we have seen Gurudev will do everything that is needed, um, and so there's a lot of self-reliance also. It was not like you asked a helper to clean or something; you would do it. You see something that needs to be fixed, that needs to be taken care of, you step up, you take responsibility. And so it was such a simple thing, it may be seen as, oh, wow, take responsibility as a very big thing, but uh, Gurudev taught these lessons in such a simple way to us as kids. So I remember, I mean, it's just been such a beautiful journey. Um, and it's full of such memories, running around in the ashram, uh, and Divya Prabha, one of the famous singers in Natali, who's recently passed away. Uh, she um, she had come in the first, and then we would play with her shoes. We would hide her shoes and all of that. So right from that time, they would say, your family is the whole world. Everybody belongs to you.
Yeah.
So that has been very imbibed in us right from a young age. So we feel at home wherever I go. I feel at home. I feel uh, taken care of that way. So and I feel ownership also that this is my planet. These are my people. What can we do? So that for that, it's. I think that education is what a lot of us could also have, no, like this. And I think through the art of living, this is what Gurudev is sharing with us, isn't it? How can we all really feel that one world family and treat each other as that as well?
Yeah. So, Gurudev was part of your initial environment. So, I mean, he's right there from the very beginning. And at some point, when you perhaps got some exposure to the outside world, you might have realized that, oh, he's different. The world is like that and he's like that. So, at what point did that happen and how?
You know, I wish I could say there was a point like that, but there isn't. So for me, somehow, um, I was able to see the world through that lens, through what we learned from Gurudev. And Gurudev brought the world to us in one sense, right? People from all around the world would come to the ashram. We had people from all around India who would come and visit. So there was never this sense of like there's something else, like for us, this was the real world. That this is the way the normal should be, not like a stressed out world that I found after when I went into school and all of that. But somehow this world was strong. It carried through with me. So what then happened was a lot of my friends then did the art of living. Many of them are teachers now. The people from kindergarten are still involved. Some of them are teachers. Some of them have gone on to really be notable members in society, and they have these values, these human values. And often people say, what are these human values? Gurudev has started the International Association for Human Values. What do you mean by human values? People often talk about human rights, but Gurudev always placed emphasis on human values. And for us, he just shared it in a very simple way. He said, it's treat others as you would want to be treated. Do unto others as you would want to have done unto you. Very simple, right? So
Yeah.
you want to have a civil conversation, you want to have compassion, you want to feel a sense of love and caring amongst fellow human beings, right? And through this simple way, you don't even need to say, oh, I need to feel love towards. How do you want to be treated?
Hmm.
Simple. Very practical it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you want to feel happy, right? You want to feel belonging wherever you go, isn't it? Yeah. So you want to feel, so then you also take that responsibility to make others feel connected, to make others feel comfortable. And that has grown stronger as we grew. But this self confidence, is truly because of Gurudev and because of Gurudev's teachings. Um, yeah.
But as a young child, what I'll still continue the same line is as a child, you would have still at some point experienced, oh, what Gurudev, how he is, and what is um, uh, the worldview that he's creating or teaching. Uh, not everybody in the outside world shares that worldview. It's an education for them. And people operate from a different worldview. And at some point, you would have seen this contrast between the world around Gurudev and the world that he's nurturing and promoting, and the way the world is for a lot of other people. Did that contrast ever, did you ever feel that contrast at some point in the childhood?
Not in childhood, somehow. I mean, I think as a child, you also have so much enthusiasm. Right? I still feel that enthusiasm. Gurudev says when you stop feeling that enthusiasm is when you're growing old.
Yes.
Um, but when you have that enthusiasm, then you carry it through. Sure, you may feel a little disappointed if somebody doesn't like. Yeah, I remember like when we were in 10th standard, now that you bring this up, we had done the DSN program, the Divya Samaj Nirman program. And then we went out and we wanted to get people to sign up for the course. And then we got differing responses, right? But one of the things Gurudev had shared was you don't need to convince anybody, you educate, and then you let people make their own decision. And this is what I feel is so beautiful about the art of living. It's not an exclusive mindset.
Yeah.
It's something that often you feel what you find in places of faith. There is no place for reasoning. There's no space for rational thinking, right? And in places where people are very rational, the faith aspect is not so nurtured. But in Gurudev's way, there is space for both head and heart. And he talks about this. He talks about the journey from head to heart, right? And that both of these are essential for you to live life to its fullest. This is the way I understand it. Huh? And so this is the way I see as the work of the art of living. It's nurturing both your head and your heart. Because we need the intellect to succeed in life. You need to be able to convince or at least convey your points of view.
Yeah.
You need to be able to take certain decisions. And so for that, you need a clear frame of mind, clear thinking process.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the heart also needs to be soft enough for you to feel. Otherwise, you're missing out on a whole different part of being human. And often people are either only here or only here and end up seeing life from a perspective that's a skewed perspective.
Yeah.
So going back to your question, I found when I felt that, then I would just reflect and then I would see how Gurudev conducted himself. So I think the most beautiful thing for all of us today is that we have a living role model. He still conducts himself by example.
Yeah.
Right? So you just have to look towards that. And then, okay, fine, you bounce back. That I learned. And it was not something that suddenly came, it was not like, oh, wow, this is my Gurudev, right? For me, somewhere around 5-6 years old, I felt that, there's something so special. But Gurudev always had that, that love that was even beyond any familial ties, So I think we've been very lucky that way.
Of course, no, for sure.
Very blessed.
For sure. So, how did his extraordinariness unfold? I mean, how did you, when and how did you realize that, come to know that he's not normal? He's not ordinary.
They would say that is the normal, right?
Yeah.
You know this. Right?
Yeah.
Gurudev has talked about
Yeah.
Spandakarikas.
Yeah. But this, when you spend time with him, for a lot of us, after it takes maybe a few days, some time, maybe a trip to see, oh, he's not ordinary. There's,
I'm still discovering.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, when did it first hit you, and how did it first hit you?
That's a great question. I haven't thought about it. But uh, see, there was no question in my mind. I'd been thinking those lines that, oh, this is somebody different or something. I just knew that it was very special. That uh, And for me, he was my guru. And so there was naturally that reverence came, that love. Uh, so it was different. Like Gurudev often says, no, when you have love, there's no respect. And when you have respect, there's no love. But for him, both come naturally.
Yeah,
And so, I mean, like sometimes you just know in your heart, right? It's not like a sudden change
yeah,
per se, but
yeah,
I just knew.
yeah,
Uh, and at some point, I would say maybe in my teens, that when I learned the Sudarshan Kriya and Sat Samadhi meditation, then it really became even more like
right,
obvious,
right,
right?
right.
Because even then, Gurudev would travel around the world. Like
Right.
today, he's still in like what 40 countries on average
Yeah, a year.
per year.
Yeah,
So he traveled a lot. So he would be here maybe a few weeks, maybe a month and a half, 2 months. And so, and even then he would travel all around. So when he was in the ashram, we would see him. We were in school. We would come in the evenings for satsang and then go back home and come. So it was that sort of a,
yeah,
and then most of the time, as kids, we would run around in satsang
yeah,
during bhajans, and often my brother and I would go and tell other kids, don't make noise, while we ourselves are making noise. I
yeah,
realize, but it was fun, and but then we would sit down. At least we would sit down and listen to what Gurudev had to say, and somehow that sort of um, that brought a different quality to our own lives and
yeah,
understandings
yeah.
now. Yeah.
So, I've always had this thought that because I came in from outside, my experience of the world was different. And luckily, very lucky for me, I also discovered it at a very young age. I was 16 when I came across Gurudev. But, and when something like this hits you, the art of living, the environment that's there, and what Gurudev brings, um, there is a thought that, isn't this too good to be true? I mean, so there is a, for me, for somebody like me to come close, there is a, I would say a river or a gorge of doubt that you have to cross. Is this real? But for you, it wouldn't be, because he's right there. He's from the beginning. So have you seen that contrast with people coming in?
Somehow the way Gurudev sees is like when he says the whole world is my family, the whole world is my family is how Gurudev is, right? And you see that today also. I mean, having been in the art of living so long, you see that as well, right? So I think again it's the same principle, right? You make others feel comfortable and then they move on their own pace. So, I really haven't thought about it that way, but uh, I have seen, I mean, I can say that this sort of feeling of closeness has to come from us as well, right? Gurudev says that
Yeah,
you feel close
yeah,
to the Guru, to the Master.
yeah,
And then that comes up from within you as well. So, uh, I don't know that it's necessarily a gulf and that it's only limited to the way you're describing it, like people from the outside. I mean, that's a little hard for me to even accept, because for me, uh, everything is part of our family in that sense. The way we've been brought up. So yeah, sure, people have their own questions, their own doubts, and that's fine. And you work through it.
yeah,
It's you've seen an art of living. Gurudev doesn't. He actually encourages you to have doubt. He says doubt. You go through it. You move it. It's not like nobody's shut out if they have a doubt. Go ahead, move through it. So
yeah. When I came to the ashram, and I was listening to him in satsangs, um, I didn't know. I mean, came towards him because I knew this is what I really want to explore more, and this is more important than anything else that I can think of. But and often there are many questions about doubt in satsang, and Gurudev would say, uh, "Don't doubt half-hearted. Doubt 100%. And when I heard him say that, I would say, yeah, that's confidence. I mean, and he's allowing he's allowing you go ahead, doubt me. Go ahead, doubt me. And for a time, I said, okay, I'll take you up on that offer. And I doubted everything. And I went through that this thing to arrive at solid ground. So I often say that um, on that road of doubt, I know every pebble. I know what all to doubt, and So, but have you had any doubts at all?
Of course, I mean, the nature of the mind is to have doubts as
Yeah.
well, right? So, yeah. But luckily, it's been about other things and not
Yeah.
Guru
Yeah.
himself,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that I found that because somehow you have that, you know that the Guru has your back
Yeah.
as you go through things. But there are certain things which I've sometimes, have questioned myself also. I'm like, should I have spoken up in a different way, uh, in correction to some of the things,
Yeah.
some of the
Yeah.
decisions that were being made. But then I saw ultimately that my doubts were
Mm.
not
Mm.
well placed.
You'll have to back it up with a few anecdotes. Come on.
So I can share. Let me see. See, I can share this thing of the World Culture Festival. So there's this time. This is March, February, 2020, 2016,
16. Yeah.
and I had just flown in from DC into New Delhi directly, and into Bangalore, and then I was then go to fly with Gurudev from here to New Delhi. Now, when we all landed in New Delhi, there was such a gaggle of
Yep.
reporters outside the airport, and everybody is like, "Oh, people are saying what you're doing is harming the Yamuna, and is this going to happen here? There's this whole firestorm that was this controversy that was created out of nothing, actually,
Yeah.
and of people who didn't even study what had been done,
Yeah.
the 400 or so permissions that had been taken, uh, all of the safeguards that had been made to even design the stage on a floating. None of this people seem to have cared to find out. So they were like, "Oh, you are harming the Yamuna," and I was thinking to myself, here is somebody who has been working for so long to clean up the Yamuna. The whole purpose of this festival is to create awareness about the state of our rivers and the joint effort that we need to do. And this is the response. Huh? So that was day one. And then this opposition to our festival grew stronger and stronger. So many
Yeah.
papers started coming out against it and all of that stuff. And then what happened was all of the trustees, many trustees, senior organizers, they came to Gurudev one evening, and I had the privilege of being with Gurudev this whole time. And they were telling Gurudev, हम इसको शिफ्ट कर देते हैं, सिरी फोर्ट ऑडिटोरियम में कर लेंगे गुरुदेव. We'll do this in City Fort Auditorium, and it'll be safer, Gurudev, because all of this noise and all of um, this had a lot of issues, right? Because first of all, the stage was 7 acres long. It was a floating stage. It was built without any underpinnings, and so it was not harming any soil.
Yeah.
There was no compaction or any of that. And on top of that, it had been given the sign off by the Uttar Pradesh authorities, the Delhi authorities as well. And so it was like, what, as I mentioned before, 400 or so permissions that had been taken. So the Art of Living organizers had done all the right things, right? But still, there was some injustice that was trying to be pushed on us due to whatever political ends or whatever it is. Now, under this circumstance, under so much pressure, then I also felt like, okay, maybe Gurudev, we should do what the trustees are saying, and I offered. It was just me with Gurudev in a room. I still remember it was the evening hours, and I was not, I was a little shaken, honestly. And then, where I remember, even to this date, when I remember that courage comes back into me, it's like Gurudev was like this lion, you know, um, uh, and he said, "No, we have not done anything wrong. then why should I accept that something? He said, I will go to jail, but the event will happen in the same place. And what an amazing event it was. And
Yeah.
even till this date, I still,
Yeah.
like, fondly look at the videos of it. And that time, that time, when he said that, that doubt just vanished in my mind. I said, yes, this is going to be an amazing program right here.
Yeah.
And it was like a very defining thing for me. And to see the Guru in such, the such dignity, such courage, standing on principle, that has made a big mark on me. You don't need to be aggressive. You don't need to be like upset or angry to be assertive. You can be so that peaceful dignity that Gurudev exuded at that time. Uh, I can still see it in my mind, sir. And I appreciate that we stand on principle in the art of rhythm. Somehow, sometimes I feel I'm very idealistic, but then when I see this sort of uh, example that Gurudev has set, it sort of vindicates that,
Yeah. Yeah.
standing for something. And we at the Art of Living, we stand for truth, we stand for peace,
Yeah.
we stand for togetherness. And I feel that this voice is so much needed today. Um, Here's another example, let me share with you. This is the most recent World Culture. Actually, even before this, I remember in 2004, Gurudev had come to Washington, D.C., and we were trying to set a meeting for Gurudev with President, then it was President George Bush. And so one of my professors, uh, he served in the Reagan administration, and he has great reverence for Gurudev. He's known Gurudev now for almost 25 years. So he was there, and so I said, can we please set up this meeting, Dr. B? And he said, yes, yes. So we'll have to do this in a few steps. So he said, it's like, so he had set up some meetings. Those meetings went well, and so he said, these are all steps. So we'll take these baby steps before we can walk on water. That is, we can meet with the president.
Yeah.
So he had set a few meetings. So first meeting happened. Then second meeting was with the White House chief of the faith-based office. So so he is there, and then Gurudev is the three of us, and a couple of other people were there with us. And I had my laptop, and so Gurudev said, show them the videos that of the Love Moves the World. So Dr. Balitzer, my professor, is saying, no, 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 don't show it right now. It may not be the right time. And Gurudev said, show them the videos. Now I was like, so, but I showed the videos.
Yeah.
Okay. So then Dr. B was still okay. He loves Gurudev. So he's like, okay, fine. And then this director of the faith-based office, he said, please allow me a few minutes. I'll just be right back. So he saw the video, then he stepped out of the room. And then Dr. B was like, I think that went very well. We're going to, I think at the next meeting that Gurudev is in town, we will set up the meeting with the president. And so we were like, yes, that'd be nice. Then I just looked at Gurudev. Gurudev was just smiling. And then what happens is this man comes back, Mr. Tui, and he says, Gurudev, would you like to meet with the president?
Oh.
Right there we went. Just say Gurudev and Dr. B went into the Oval Office.
Oh.
They met with the president. It was right that day. So the way
Yeah.
the grace moves with
Yeah.
Gurudev is very different.
Yeah.
It's something more than what the logic can comprehend.
Yeah.
And I've seen this throughout my life.
Yeah.
Different such
Yeah.
occurrences. One other thing people often wonder, they're like, oh, because you're Gurudev's nephew, maybe Gurudev tells you certain special instructions or whatever it is. For me, he's my guru. And the way a lot of us receive instructions, like very few things like that. That's what even we get.
Yeah.
So he's the same. His love for all of us is unique. but the guidance for all of us is like that of a guru.
Yeah.
So that uh, I know you were alluding to that question a little bit in the beginning, but yeah, a lot of the major decisions in my life, he has guided, simply that way. Yeah. So, and they're not that many major decisions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, they go a long way in
Yeah.
shaping your life. I mean, those few instances where he says, not here, there.
Yeah.
And
It's
yeah.
few
Yeah.
things. And so that's yeah.
So, stepping back into maybe your earlier years again, um, the programs that he was teaching, and Arlene was still very young when you were growing up. Um, the impact he would have had and still does, I mean, just at a larger scale, but at that time, because the groups and the organization and the people coming in were smaller in number, and the experiences are very deep, and he offers something that's not available outside. Um, how did you see that in the impact that he was having on people? And what did you take away or understand from that?
Yeah, it was just creating more happy people, and you could see people with more purpose in their lives. Uh, and it felt like life had a meaning, right?
Yeah.
That you could be useful. And even as children, he never treated any, even now, no, children also he empowers all of us.
Yeah.
Even age no bar. He gives everybody some task, something to do to help make the world a little bit better. There's one thing that he would say, and my grandfather would also say this. He said, leave the world a little better than how you found it in the morning. And that's something that I remember. So even as children, he had something for all of us to do. So it sort of was like this beautiful way of living, that the art of living, literally,
Yeah.
that we were sharing with
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
So it was uh, it was beautiful, Naku, to see it, and knowing that we have so many loved ones around the world, right?
Yeah.
We have all of us.
Yeah.
There's this camaraderie, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you go around the world, and I've traveled a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks both to Art of Living and to my work. I used to work
Yeah.
at the World Bank for a while, um, and I used to lead this program called Collaborative Leadership for Development, and that took me to more than 42 countries around the world.
Yeah.
And wherever I would go, I would find Art of Living people.
Yeah.
So you felt at home wherever. Uh, so it was really, I mean, like uh, this phenomenon
Yeah.
called the Art of Living. It's really something that in modern times doesn't have another parallel, because it's
Right.
such ownership. See, people try to look at this from a technical viewpoint or from a management viewpoint also, and there's no clear model saying, "Oh, is this the model? Is that the model? Is it a hub and spoke model? Is it a centralized model?" And it actually defies all of that logic.
Yeah.
Because Gurudev has said, I mean, I remember even now, he said that I'm not here to create organizations. I'm here to strengthen individuals. And I think that is what you're seeing today also. That it is those people who feel strengthened, empowered to go out and share this wisdom for the benefit of more people. And it's also, it's so interesting, right? It's mushroomed in a way
Yeah.
that logically you can't think about it. It's will be 45 years next year in 182 countries. Uh, think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was just about to come to that, that you've seen Art of Living right from the beginning. I mean, you're just a few years older than Art of Living, I think. So, um, and you've yourself, represented Art of Living on the global stage as well. So you know every level. You've seen the impact on every level. What um, do you see art of living? What, according to you, your experience, does art of living offer in society? Because what it offers is something very precious. We don't have a name for it because it's different things to different people. But what is the hole that art of living plugs into in society?
It's a beautiful question, and I've wondered about this. And given that my PhD is in political science and economics, I've often thought about the impact. My my dissertation was focused on leadership and how leadership can change societies and to put them in a different way, a different trajectory of development. And so I looked at our art of living model, and what I see is this is this is what I would say Gurudev calls the ABCs of leadership, or you could even look at this as the ABC of systemic change. Um, so A, I would say, is awareness. So it begins with the individual. So when an individual becomes aware that uh, they are able to connect to themselves better, cut through all the clutter, cut through the noise in the mind, right? When you're able to find that stillness within, that energy also within, then you become more aware of the interdependence of our existence, or that we're not an island in one sense. We're all interconnected. I think even in satsang yesterday, Gurudev was sharing about how, see, for the cloth that I'm wearing, there needs to be a farmer who would have grown this cotton cloth.
Yeah.
Is somebody who has then woven it into this garment that I'm wearing, and somebody who has delivered it to the store, and then somebody who has purchased it and gifted it to me, or I've gone and bought it, whatever it is, right? So we're all so interdependent. We think that, oh,
Yeah.
I'm independent, but there's such interdependence. So you become aware of this fact. It's not just a concept. You become aware that for you to have your lunch today, that farmer would have toiled for 6 months to grow that rice and lentil, and it's not the same farmer. There are different farmers who have done that, and there's somebody who's brought that to the store. Somebody who's prepared it for you, right? So this interdependence, you become aware of this connectedness. So awareness of your own thoughts and emotions leads you to better connect to yourself. That better connection to yourself makes you aware of the interconnections you have. And with that also comes a sense of belongingness. You feel connected to people around you in a more real way. You say, okay, fine. If my actions are going to harm that farmer, how can I take actions that are not going to harm that farmer? How can I conserve water? How can I use less electricity? How can I live life in a more, I would say, efficient and effective way that I'm useful to people around me? And the C is the commitment. Commitment for a better world, for a better society. So I see the art of living, at least this is in my understanding, and that we are about these ABCs: awareness, belongingness, and commitment. And through this, we have seen the impact on the individual level, on a community-based level, and on a national or global
Even
level.
global, yeah.
So at the individual level, Gurudev offers all of these programs, right? You have the Art of Living, Sudarshan Kriya, the Art of Living Part 1 course, the Part 2 course, which is the silent retreat, and Sad Samadhi meditation as the foundational courses. And these are also offered at an age-appropriate group. You have the Art Excel, the Sky course for children, and now Utkarsh Yoga, which is such a fantastic program. So at the individual level, Gurudev has created so many different programs to help address the mental health of individuals and realize this awareness, bring the awareness in them, and the sense of belongingness, that the whole world belongs to me. And there's this sense then, which from where springs the sense of commitment. Right? So it's almost organic that from this individual level, you move into the community level where such empowered individuals, such individuals who are aware, want to make a difference in society. See, the Sky course for kids started off with a teacher who took the program and said, wow, this just is what we need in our schools. And they took up that on themselves. They helped put together some program. They came to Gurudev and said, Gurudev, maybe go offer this to children. Gurudev said, go ahead. Right? So it's these individuals who are empowered, who feel that this is their own.
Yeah.
Right? And so they created all these programs. So at the community level, you have programs for schools, for youth in universities, you have programs for soldiers and veterans who suffer from war trauma, for law enforcement personnel who actually feel fear when they are engaging with criminals. And you also have programs for prisoners so as to rehabilitate them. Because Gurudev says, no, at our core, all of us are the same as what creation is, which is a positive nucleus, positively charged nucleus with the negative electrons around, right? So we are mirrors, or we are rather like manifestations of the same atoms. So that is the second aspect, the community level. And from there, we have seen an impact on a national and transnational or global scale as well, where you have peace building initiatives. People who have undergone these programs have said, hey, I will go approach the warring factions, help them come to the table. Then they come meet with Gurudev, they feel that peace. You see the case of militants laying down their arms in Jammu and Kashmir, Assam, other parts of the northeast of India, Colombia. Right? What started off as a program for forgiveness, forgiveness of the victims' families and the families of the guerrilla fighters, then went into this place where, you had this opportunity for the FARC membership, FARC leadership to come and meet with Gurudev. And just the presence itself, helped transform their way of thought. So that is one aspect, the peace building aspect. The other aspect, I would say, is this large scale gatherings, World Culture Festival. The World Culture Film Festival, which Gurudev recently launched to uplift, for entertainment that uplifts. Right? Everybody is on their phones or other devices consuming entertainment. How do we create entertainment that uplifts? Then you have the World Forum for Arts and Culture, which brings so many artists together to protect the culture of various I would say cultural groups or ethnic groups and regional groups. Yeah. And you have all of these others, right? World Forum for Ethics in Business, the recently concluded Summit on Ethics in Sports. So there's a lot of these global fora that Gurudev has, the Global Leadership Forum, the conferences on rabbis and imams, and the intercultural, inter-religious conferences that Gurudev has hosted. So it's mind-blowing, the sort of manifestation of what started off with few simple breaths. But just remembering that it all begins with me. And I can only give what I have. So let me find that source of peace, that source of joy within me, then I can share that. So it's profound wisdom, a very practical way. And so I've seen this impact and at different levels around the world. Of course, in India, something that's very dear to Gurudev is the Youth Leadership Training Program. And this has been like, the goal to transform our villages, our rural communities, to make them more self-reliant, resilient, both in the face of climate change and all of these other changes that are happening in society. And to encourage leadership from within. The young leaders come from within the villages themselves. So it's such a vast range. When you think about it logically, you're like, oh my gosh, your mind is blown, right? But then you realize that it's this spiritual strength that Gurudev brings, makes such things possible, makes the impossible possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Quite a mouthful, huh?
yeah. No, but it is. I mean, at publications at my office, we come to hear of things, the extraordinary things that our people have done, and invariably, they just go ahead and do it, and we are sitting here in the ashram. And how did it? I mean, how did it happen? And it's in every field. I mean, whether it's prisons, schools, or rivers, or such.
I know. I was just going to say, I forgot to mention the rivers, which is like such a huge impacting uh, project.
Yeah.
75 rivers, I believe, or 76 rivers.
77, I think.
77 rivers now. And the millions of people around them. See, I mean, places like Latur, which we used to always hear about, so much drought, so many farmers committing suicide. There's a big systemic shift over there.
Yeah.
Because of the work that has been undertaken. And mind you, this is not like a lot of other groups which come from the outside, they bring their experts, they build everything, and then they go. And then what happens is that disrepair, right? But here is the involvement of the community.
Yeah.
And this is a classic way of building resilient, what Gurudev says, conscious, caring communities, where people step up to solve their own problems. You take responsibility for your own problem. And that's the best sort of solution. Because that is when things will remain clean, or they remain sustainable for a long time. Yeah.
So, of course, Gurudev is a spiritual leader, and he's known as somebody who advocates meditation, yoga, ancient knowledge, ancient Vedic knowledge, Indian knowledge. And like you said earlier in our discussion, that I'm still discovering, I mean, what Gurudev is, and there's so many sides to him. So I want to ask you, because you also are very familiar with his public side, and so what are some of the facets of Gurudev that are not so well known? What are sides to him that people don't know of?
One of the things that a lot of people know, right, is some of the work that he has done for conflict resolution in, let's say, the Ayodhya Ram Mandir issue, or like the work with Colombia. But what people are not aware are the continuing efforts that Gurudev is making to bring peace in a lot of the conflict regions around the world, including the Middle East, where he's brought different groups of people together and is encouraging a dialogue and ways in which we can make some workable solutions happen. Same with exploring ways in which we can bring. There's a track too, right? There's obviously there's one where the political leadership is meeting, but there's another where you have the community leaders, religious leaders, spiritual leaders coming together, and business communities. So Gurudev convenes a lot of these different types of communities in pursuit of peace.
Because you've been involved with conflict resolution efforts with Gurudev directly in many places, many parts of the world. Now, does any incident stand out that
one of the
touched you?
things, it's a very unique approach to conflict resolution that I've seen, having studied a lot of it and the way that other people do it, or the way you're taught even to do conflict resolution. Gurudev's approach is very different. What I've seen in several situations, Gurudev doesn't go in with an agenda of his own. His only agenda is peace, and that itself gives Gurudev that integrity. It both sides, or rather all the other sides, then see that he doesn't have a vested interest. His only interest is peace. So that then sets the stage for a different quality of conversation. The other thing that I've seen, the other principle that I've seen that I've not seen anywhere else is Gurudev says we all know the problems. Often where everybody starts is, oh, you state what you see as the problem, I will state what I see as the problem, and then we continue fighting.
Hmm.
In practicality, this is what happens.
Hmm.
The idea is that you share your problem, I share the problem that I see, and then we find some commonality. What Gurudev says is, why don't you share what is your solution?
Hmm.
And I will share what is my solution. And then let's pick something that is we both can agree on.
Hmm.
You give 10 points, I give 10 points. Let's see, maybe 5 points we can agree on
Hmm.
and implement those to build trust. And this I've seen has worked so well in bringing groups together from a problems mindset
Hmm.
to solutions focused mindset.
Hmm.
And from a solutions focused mindset to building trust.
Hmm.
And which is like a virtuous cycle.
Hmm.
It takes you down a path that has the ability to provide a solution
Hmm.
rather than seeing where, oh, this is not working, that is not working, and oh, I don't agree with you on this, and then we both get up and walk out in a huff.
Hmm.
So this I've seen at that level and at many levels also. Because where there are two people, generally there's bound to be some differences of opinion.
Yeah.
And it's natural, right?
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that? And so this is where I found that it's not about being unnatural.
Hmm.
It's being yourself
Hmm.
and allowing for that. And allowing for disagreements. Yeah, sometimes, best ideas come from disagreements,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But trusting the process, saying that, okay, fine, let's move through this
Yeah.
and let's see what we can. So these are some insights that I've gathered. And also, I've been involved in some meetings myself, and people have observed that. They say, hey, there's a certain calm, there's a certain
Hmm.
sense of peace that comes from meditators, from all of us, right? That benefits such a process. People ask for such a, they feel like it's something that helps them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it makes a difference.
So, because we're a spiritual organization, and one of our principles is accept people as they are, there's lots of different kinds of people around, and which sets the stage for a different level of crazy also that happens around Gurudev. So, uh, does anything stand out? Do you remember any? I am sure you've seen like many um, incidents which you want to share some of those.
You know what I remember is like we were traveling with Gurudev, right? And I think uh, this was in South America, and we just landed, and we were driving from the airport, and then we just pulled into the road where the center is. This is in Brazil, and the whole road was lined up with people.
Huh.
And so I was sitting with Gurudev at the back of the car, and we were just driving,
Huh.
and everybody would give a rose, and Gurudev would look at everybody and take the rose.
Hmm.
And I found that by the time we got to the center, the art of living center, we were this deep in roses, and the sort of craziness, the sort of love that people have for Gurudev is the same, whether it's India,
Yeah.
Brazil, Argentina, the US, wherever, Colombia, Europe. It's a pure love that no human being can resist, and so that leads to a lot of craziness.
Yeah.
But some very difficult times for organizers. But somehow you move through it. I've
Yeah.
found when I think you've also seen this, right? When you have official security or like they get so worked up.
Yeah.
Police or like security personnel, they get so worked up. They know what's happening, what's happening. And then somehow Gurudev says, all of you stay back, let me just go and handle it. And it works out. Uh, Some places the security personnel themselves fall at his feet and create more chaos. But I think it's just that love, and when there is love, then all of these other barriers just fall away.
Mm.
So I can understand that to an extent. At one point, I would be like, oh, it needs to be a certain way, like very set. But you realize that when there's so much love, then it doesn't let anything stand in the way. You just want to jump at Gurudev.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, through the journey of art of living, and because you've been exposed to it across the world at every level, through all these decades, um, what has changed and what hasn't?
One of the things that has not changed, I would say, is Gurudev's love and his spirit, that he just moves forward with such enthusiasm, such resolve. That has not changed. I still see that, and that same love in his eyes, Um, and he just moves with all of us together. I do think that in terms of what has changed is, the ways in which we approach people, uh, some of the newer techniques that have come up over the past. Maybe those are, I would say, has changed. But on the overall, I would say art of living as such has grown now. What 40,000 teachers we have? There are bound to be some changes. There are bound to be differences in the way we approach things. But at the core, if we can keep this message of Gurudev, right, that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and move with the vision that Gurudev has of a violence-free, stress-free society, I think that will hold us true to what we are here for. So I think it's natural. And so this is why in Art of Living Gurudev says you do whatever you feel is natural, right? You don't have to do anything unnaturally. And he says, "Kya madhya marg."
Yeah.
So the middle path, you follow that, and I find that that's important in today's world. We have to engage with the world at a time now when there's so much anxiety around the world, so much mental health struggles. Um, this is a real solution for people. This is a real way for them to find that solace within, and also find a sense of purpose, right? And that zeal for life. Because what is life if not lived with joy and enthusiasm?
Yeah.
And reminding ourselves again and again that we have that. So, this knowledge that Gurudev has given us is so precious. So, as Art of Living teachers, we have such a responsibility, I feel, um, of sharing this with as many people as we can. Uh, and at such a time when there's so much tumult in the world, right? This is something that I really find Gurudev has embedded within us. That yes, things are not the way they're supposed to, maybe the way you want it to be, but what can you do to make it a little better? Right? There's no use sitting and complaining about it and crying about it. Is there accept people and situations as they are, right?
Yeah.
And then go about doing what you can. It's not that passive acceptance.
Yeah.
That's the way I have understood it. Yeah, that you move forward and make whatever impact you can. So I feel like today, in today's world, we have a big role to play in bringing people together and helping them overcome the stress, overcome their negative emotions through the techniques that they were shared with us, and find ways in which we can move forward together. What do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm just trying to extract more and more stories from you, anecdotes and incidents, and of any nature. Of it could be funny, it could be touching, it could be transforming, anything.
So very often there's this one sort of a thing, that when you're with Gurudev, your mind goes blank. Have you felt this?
Oh,
Like-
I still, when I go to see him for a meeting, I make points.
Yeah.
But I know I'm going to forget. Even yesterday, I was referring to my phone. Gurudev said, "Huh, kya hai?" I said, 1 minute. So I still do it.
Yeah, me too. I also started making points now because the mind goes blank in that. This was 2002 or something, 2003, and it was before the time that we had all the cell phones were so smartphones that they had all GPS around. So you still had manual maps, and I was driving Gurudev in Southern California. So we were going from Los Angeles to San Diego, where Gurudev had a public program. And so I was, at one point I was very happy that, oh, I've driven Gurudev on both sides of the road. Something like, as a kid, you like all these things. So I was just thinking about that. I was feeling very happy about it. And then I missed the exit.
Oh,
Because I had the exit 82 in my mind. And then
yeah.
I see it said exit 84. I'm like, oops, I missed it. And then I don't know the way.
Oh,
So then Gurudev looks at me and says, we missed the exit. I said, yes, Gurudev. Then he says, okay, take the next exit. So then he guided me
oh,
because I was blank and there's no GPS. There's nothing to like put me back on track. I've never been to San Diego before. So this was one time, where he just guided us back to where we had to go
huh.
and to the place that we had to go. And so I was like, thank you, Gurudev, for pulling me out of that mud. And over the years, I found that sometimes, when your mind goes blank, then Gurudev pulls you out of it.
Yeah.
He's there to help you
Yeah.
snap out of it. So it's interesting. It happens to all of us at times. There's another incident I recall when I was still in, I think, 10th standard or the 11th standard. And those days, there used to be these weekly knowledge faxes,
Yeah.
weekly knowledge
Yeah.
sheets. So
Yeah.
we call them weekly knowledge fax. So we'd fax it around the country. So once we were flying with Gurudev, I think this was from Delhi to Dehradun. No, Kolkata to Dehradun, I think. Or one of those flights in the northeast and north. And so Gurudev had given some notes for like previous evening he had shared the knowledge, and so I had written it down, and then so I was uh, I was in one part of the plane, Gurudev was in another part of the plane, and somehow I just finished writing it, and it was like everybody still had to have their seatbelts fastened, and I generally am very compliant. But then something told me, I have to take this to Gurudev now and show it to him. So I got up and went through, and I showed it, and the air hostess
Yeah.
was following me. Huh? So then I just ignored. I just went, showed this to Gurudev, and I said, "Ha, I was just looking for it." So sometimes you have that
Yeah.
intuitive
Yeah.
thought, and over time I've learned to trust that intuitive thought more
Yeah.
and more.
Yeah.
Within there's something that within you that gives that
Yeah.
that intuitive something
Yeah.
something in you says no within
Yeah.
you. So I don't know if this is appropriate for everybody, but I just wanted to share it with you because you were
Mm.
asking. This was during um, World Culture Festival. No? Somehow our World Culture Festival and rain have some sort of a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in Bangalore we had a few light showers, I think, but in Berlin,
Berlin goes.
there
It's
was a
the
good amount of rain.
event happened in the rain.
Events happened in the rain, and in 2016 also, right?
They opened
In
with the
March, it opened with rain.
yeah.
It's never happened, right? In Delhi in March, rains. So, anyways, so there's some seems to be some relationship with rain and World Culture Festival. So then we told, Gurudev said we'll do next World Culture Festival in Washington. We had this whole competition, right? Which city will get it? Huh? Ultimately, Gurudev said Washington D.C. or the National Mall. So we were very happy. Then we said, let's do this in September. No chance of rain. Zero chance of rain. It's like the fall. Nahi hone wala barish. No rain. So we'll be safe. So we got the National Mall. Again, it's an open venue completely. Yeah. And so what happens is that it's coming the week of World Culture Festival, September 29th, 30th, and October 1st. And we see the forecast, and it says like 75% chance of rain all 3 days. And we're like, oh, now what do we do? Now that is one googly, as you would say, in cricket terminology. The other one is that the government shutdown was a real possibility. So you might wonder, if government shuts down, what is the difference? It doesn't make any difference, and we are going to do our program. So the issue was that we were doing it on the uh, National Mall, which is right in front of the U.S. Congress, the Capitol, and uh, the National Mall is managed by the National Park Service. So if the government shuts down, then the National Park Service shuts down, which means no officers can be on the premises, which means you cannot do your event. So all of these people, like the media, everybody were asking, "Do you have a plan B? What are you going to do?" And then we asked Gurudev, he said, "There is no plan B. It is going to happen there on the National Mall." So it was quite fascinating. On the night, like at 11:50, 11:30, 11:40 sometime, the night before, Thursday, before Congress was going to go home, they passed the budget. And there was going to be no shutdown. We were so relieved. Now, there's still the question of the rain. So then Sundarmurti ji, Principal ji, he had come. Yeah. So Gurudev said, no, he had not come actually. He was here. And what Gurudev said was, don't worry, it'll be fine. I've told Sundarmurti ji. So then we called him, Bhushan and I called him. And he said, you have to go to the four edges of where we are doing the program, and he will say some prayers. And so Bhushan and I went suddenly with the phone. We go to the four edges of this. It's a big place, the National Mall.
Yeah.
So to the four edges we go, and then we're standing while Sundarmurti ji is sharing some, Principal ji is sharing some shloka, and then people are seeing what's happening. What are these two boys? What are these two men doing here? Standing. But you know what? It was so beautiful. The first day it began with some light, like almost like a blessing of some mist. A mist of, it was not a heavy downpour as had been predicted.
Yeah.
And you all see, you've seen the video of the event. It was such a beautiful event. 1.1 million people meditated on that National Mall, and which sent such vibes of peace across. And Washington, D.C., the crime level went down. There's all these like reports, right, for that whole month actually. And it was the most peaceful celebration that area has seen. It was the cleanest also. What a lot of Uber drivers and all have told.
Yeah.
So this is real. Yeah. And going back to the political science aspect
And
of
just
it.
one sec, just to add to that.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the experience of an African American woman who attended the WCF in Washington. And her experience was that as they were driving to the venue, it was pouring all over, not raining at the venue.
How
So it's very interesting that you shared this.
Wow.
You've not seen that video?
I have not seen that video.
Oh, okay.
But I knew that there was a prediction of heavy downpours.
It did rain,
Okay.
except at the venue.
So it was, we were so grateful. So next time we're telling Gurudev, we'll do it in enclosed stadium. But then there's no place big enough for that. Yeah, it'll have to be an open place. But going back to, sometimes people wonder, okay, what is the point of all of these big celebrations? I was looking at this theory in political science, which says that there's a critical mass that you need of people who ascribe to a certain set of values. So that is 1.3%. So if 1.3% of the population ascribes to a certain values, then an entire society can change easily. That is the threshold that marks a threshold of when these new values can take hold. So imagine through these movements, if we can create, through these large festivals, if we can create awareness of the role of the breath in helping calm the mind, in finding that peace within, how we can then create those waves of peace in society. So that is also one I see that also is one of the roles that this World Culture Festival is playing, and not only raising the profile of many forgotten cultures and cultures that are at risk of being lost, and helping people appreciate, but also in raising awareness about the role of meditation, of breath work, of yoga, in bringing about that societal transformation. It's fascinating.
Amazing.
Like I said, I'm still discovering
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
amazing ways in which, the mysterious and the mystical ways
Yeah.
in which Gurudev has an impact on society.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll share this one story about my time with the World Bank. And um, I was in Zimbabwe, in Harare, and we were there. I was there as part of a World Bank team that was helping with water utility reform. And so, as part of this leadership program that we were offering, uh, the self mastery portion included our breathing, our meditation work. And in many of these places, it's a different culture, and people have been told that if they close their eyes, then the devil will come and take them over.
Oh.
So the mayor of this, is called the town clerk, is what they call them in Harare. So he was there with this team, and he was being difficult, and he was saying, "No, I'm not going to close my eyes, and I'm not going to, what if the devil comes in? What sort of voodoo is this?" So that time for me, it was like, okay, what do I do? How do I guide them into meditation? So I said, if you feel comfortable, you close your eyes. Otherwise, you can keep your eyes open. And then we guided them through the Panchakosha meditation, Gurudev's voice. And the interesting part is, after the meditation, he was like, wow, that was unlike anything I'd ever experienced before. So
He had kept his eyes
he
open.
kept his eyes open,
Ah.
and he still had an amazing experience.
Wow.
So for me, it was really about, first of all, how many biases people have in their mind, prejudice. So it was fascinating to see that even such people have a good experience afterwards. And then the next session that he came to, he was fine. He was fine, closing his eyes. But it's also how we stay established, right, in the knowledge and accept the situation.
Yeah.
That was an example for me. Um, there's another story I wanted to share with you. I was just about 16 years old, and I traveled with Gurudev through the Northeast. It was my first time. Uh, and what I noticed was uh, there were a lot of these satsangs, right? Gurudev would go to. It was my first time traveling alone with Gurudev. Before that, I've traveled, but my mother would be there, or my grandmother. So, first of all, it was very exciting for me to be with Gurudev at that time. And the amount of trust Gurudev placed in all of us was evident. The way he would give us, he would allow us to, obviously, the example of he would allow us to write down knowledge sheet and then transcribe it, when he would say, and then print it out and send it, to everybody. That was one. He would allow us to read. He would ask us to read in satsang. So there's a lot of faith he placed in us. Um, so what I noticed was, we had a lot of these satsangs, and it was around June, July time. So there's a lot of rain in the Northeast, right? In India, so in the rainiest places, Cherrapunji, as we know the word. So Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, all these places we were traveling. And one thing was common. Wherever we would go, so like this was in Guwahati. This was satsang organized in Guwahati. So the organizers come to where Gurudev is. We just had reached in a car. It was raining a lot, and we were like, "Gurudev, बहुत बारिश हो रही है, and there's a lot of water. There's a lot of rain, and the field is like very muddy, and they put up the tent for it, and that collapsed.
Oh.
So." we've taken it out, Gurudev, but the chairs are all there. So Gurudev said, it'll be fine. So then we go to the satsang. The stage is there, all the chairs are there. Satsang happens 2 hours. And then we're still seeing J J Radharamale Haribol. And I would play the tabla those days. So I was playing tabla.
Oh, you also play
Yeah, I play
tabla?
tabla also.
Oh.
So I would play tabla, and then I was playing tabla as part of the satsang group. And then Gurudev got into the car and he left. And the moment he left, the rains came down quite heavily. Okay, so this was the first time. Now the second time I noticed this was in this was in Assam in Guwahati. Second time was in Arunachal Pradesh. So we stayed overnight. Gurudev was a guest of the governor that time, and then so he had organized a satsang for the school of the children of the armed forces over there. So it was Gurudev went there, and then we had satsang. We all sat, sang again, and then Gurudev got into the car and left. Again, rain. Okay, so I noticed this like 3, 4 more times. So then we asked Gurudev, Gurudev, what is this? Like, just during satsang time, there is no rain, and then afterwards, there's such heavy rain. So then he said, in when you're in alignment with nature, then nature also supports you. So the satsang is something that's good. It's creating such positivity for everybody. So nature is supporting us. It is beautiful. And then I saw that happen through so many times for all the satsangs. One other incident I'd like to share with you is, again, this was when I was 16. We had come back from all these trips, and that time Gurudev said, "Hi, you go and teach." So I had not done TTC, and I was 16, and he said, "Go with Dr. Pramila, Dr. Pramila Tana, one of our
Yeah.
most earliest teachers." So then I traveled with her to Kerala. That was where I taught my first course. It was in Thiruvananthapuram in Trivandrum. And it was an Art Excel course. Those days, Art Excel course, students were all the way up to 18 years. So it was a very nice experience for me. And, I found that time I really felt like, we all think we have faith in the Guru. For me, this was really that how much faith Guru has in us. And Gurudev has so much faith in us. There are 40,000 teachers like us, today around the world. And how much faith he has in all of us to go and share this wisdom in his name. Isn't that? It was quite something. And I remind myself that again and again. Every time I teach a course, I'm like, so,
Yeah.
no, he has faith that we will
Do it, yeah.
do it the right way. So I think this faith is like something. It's a beautiful thing, it goes in both ways. Somehow.
Yeah.
At one level, of course, I know Gurudev knows that we will do the right thing. There's this other story when Gurudev visited the World Bank. And that time, the then World Bank president, Mr. Jim Wolfenson, he asked Gurudev, we have all of this money, and still we're not able to do as much as what the Art of Living has been able to do. What is the secret? We invest in all these projects, and somehow it's not like showing the same sort of return. So Gurudev said, we invest in people, and they make all the difference. So it is very beautiful, right? It just goes back to that aspect of strengthening individuals.
Yeah. So it was lovely listening to you, Ajay. Thank you for sharing your precious time and these precious stories with us.
Thanks for having me, Nakul. It was nice. Yeah, and it's a very beautiful time that we are in. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Many of us can see this as a very challenging time, and yet I would say I would challenge us to look at this as an opportunity. How do we make the world a better place? And we have the tools. We have the tools to calm ourselves down, to make our mind stronger, more resilient, and be the best version of ourselves. Truly be the best version of ourselves, so that we can create that
Mm.
that wave of happiness, the waves of happiness that Gurudev talks about around
Mm.
us.
Mm.
So it's a beautiful opportunity. So it's wonderful
Amazing.
here with you.
Amazing. I mean, listening to you is, first of all, your voice itself is so meditative, and the space around you and what you shared also is very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Guru.